welcome to Notable Talks by AnyTechTrial.com. I am your host Sugandh Sharma, and today I have a very prestigious business leader with me on this show, Mr. Arun Goyal, who is the CIO of Sir Gangaram Hospital. A very warm welcome to you, sir, on this show.
Thank you very much, Sugandh.
I'm really honored to interview here today on this show because I really believe that when we listen to knowledgeable people, we get to learn a lot. And it's a privilege that I am interviewing you today. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, thank you. How are you
So
doing?
without further ado, I really want to start with the interview because I'm looking forward to a great session. So,
Yeah.
sir, my first question to you is rather like, sir, you have more than 2 decades of experience in leading across IT and other businesses operation domains at some of the largest establishments in our country, like Doordarshan, CBI, Paras Healthcare, and more. So I want to ask you that with such exposure and learnings, what are the key things that still keeps you up at night, and how has the role changed over the time since when you started?
Yeah, so, I would start in a reverse order when you said that, how it got evolved, the role got evolved. Being in IT since beginning, when I joined Doordarshan, there also I was driving the IT in Doordarshan, and I joined Doordarshan in 1987 way back, and we created the network across India and created lot many applications. Those days, IT used to be, people were not accepting IT, and that was a very niche area to do it. Those days, we developed the applications which are still running in Doordarshan. Like we used to run the many projects in Doordarshan. Those days, if you recall, every day one low power transmitter used to get installed in India. So we had thousands of projects up running across India. So we used to monitor those projects and their expenditure, their progress reports. So we developed an application which monitored the every expenses with respect to every project, payroll, HR related applications, many applications which brought down number of resources and improved the efficiency in Doordarshan. So that particular thing made me aware about the operations or the nitty-gritty of every operations, that how things are getting done in the system. So that gave me confidence, and furthermore, I was few of fortunates where I got opportunity to interact with the top brass of the Doordarshan, engineer in chief and chief engineers. So that groomed my personality to work with the seniors in the organization and interact, understand their thought process, visibility. So that made me a more mature person at a very young age. Because I joined Doordarshan at the age of 21.
Yes.
So, then I moved into CBI. CBI also, fortunately, I was given the responsibility of the complete systems division to computerize CBI's functioning and work with the cybercrime division as well. So I was responsible for computerization of the CBI. We made first organization in India to 100%ly computerize all the FIRs in CBI across all 70 branches. So that was also a very big project. We implemented a very big data center that time, and it was a 7-layer data center which we created in NIC, which was very secure data center. We established a connectivity between CBI India and Interpol. CBI is a nodal office of Interpol in India. So we created the very secure network between India and Interpol Lyon, France. There also in CBI, being in CBI, I visited many countries to implement many cyber crime related projects, many computer related activities which we used to do. We brought up lot many technologies from foreign countries and implemented it in India. And not only that, we implemented the first cyber forensic lab in CBI in New Delhi at CBI headquarters, which had got all the disk forensics, etc. So that was in 2002. So with that, what happened in all conventional crimes? the cyber input increased, because in every cyber any crime, be it mobile, used to be very few those days into the crimes, but we cracked many cases using the mobiles also those days. But mobile tracing, mobile tracking, and disk forensics made many helped many cases got through. There are many cases, I don't like to name it here, but we cracked using the disk forensics, because we could know that how the messages are getting exchanged. Not only the messages are getting exchanged, there were technologies, and the criminals were using the latest technology, like steganography. If in the older times, people used to crypt their messages into the drawing and paintings,
Yes.
right? And there used to be technology to decrypt those messages, to read out of those paintings or other things. Similarly, the steganography is the technology where your text messages get imposed on a one particular photograph. So you take one Bollywood heroine photograph and merge the text on the photograph and send that photograph into the attachment. So if somebody hacks that thing, or somebody gets access to that particular mail, will not be able to see the text message. They'll be able to see the video or the photograph of the so-called heroine,
Oh,
right? So you will not suspect, you will not see that there is some message or suspected message. But if you pass it through the steganography and you do the desteganograph that particular photograph, you will be able to see the text message. So we saw that type of thing happening from the southern eastern countries. These type of messages were coming with the attached photograph. When we desteganographed, we could see that message was written that on this much money needs to be deposited in this particular account of this particular person. So the hawala cases, etc., you could resolve
yes.
through this. So similarly, lot many leads we could crack into the cases using the cyber forensics. And we developed a network monitoring tool system. We implemented one disk forensics system into the CBI, wherein the criminals or the so-called accused, they used to delete all the data out of the disk.
Oh,
So so what is the best possible way of deleting the data out of the disk is you format the disk.
yes.
So once you format the disk, you assume it is your assumption that the now data cannot be recovered. But there were tools available that time. I am talking about 2002, and during those times, if you format the disk 7 times consecutively, still your data can be recovered out of the disk.
Yes.
Right. So those technologies we developed in India, so that these type of data, if somebody does mischiefs, we can recover it. So that made me more technocrat, and my perspective got changed when I was working with the senior management and implemented the things, driving the conferences with the Interpol, and managing all the I would say the policies of the CBI organization, monitoring all the performance of all the officers. So that gave me a different edge and made me a different person while monitoring performance of a senior officers, DIGs, SPs in the respective branch, with the target driven, that these many cases has to be registered, these many cases has to be prosecuted. There is another chunk which you guys are might not be aware. There is one another layer between the investigation and the prosecution. Another layer is called sanction of prosecution. So that is one layer wherein once you create a charge, once you FIR lodge a FIR for an accused, before a charge sheeting into the court, you need to have a permission from the government, because CBI generally covers the government officials cases. So you need
Yes.
to have a permission from the respective departments and their officers, their seniors and their ministries. So until unless you have, you cannot move into the court. So those cases, because of the computerization, came down drastically, and the CBI's performance went up. And we were able to monitor our performance. And we were proud to say that time, CBI's conviction rate that time used to be more than 70%. It was close to 80%, that which was the highest in the world, the conviction rate. That is why in India, everybody, if you have anything, people do ask about the CBI investigation cases. So there, I managed all the computerization and these type of cyber input. From there, I moved into the corporate, and I joined Quest Diagnostics as a director IT. And again, my journey started into the healthcare in 2008, and thereafter I've been into the healthcare only, and I became a healthcare guy thereafter. So in Quest Diagnostics was the US MNC, and they are the global leader into the diagnostics. And I visited the US many times due to some operational cases and other management training, etc. I learned lot many standard, and I learned lot many standard practices being followed into the MNC out there. Just a few examples to give, like if finance, the SOX compliance, in data center management, the CES 70, ITIL implementation. If you see in the operations, Six Sigma best practices. So all those things in different projects, waterfall way of managing the things. So all those things, all best global practices I learned being into the Quest Diagnostics. And when, as I told you earlier also, how I, being in IT, when you learn the process and nitty gritty, everything, because, until unless you learn every bit of the operation, you cannot make a processes in the IT.
True.
So so if you are in depth into the IT, you have to know every operation. So once you know it, you know better than the people, those who are doing at the ground level.
Yes.
So consequently, I was conferred the other responsibilities, the HR responsibilities, the operational responsibilities, and slowly, I grew up to the level where I was working like a chief operating officer of the Quest Diagnostics and managing all the operations, be it purchase, stores, business, commercial excellence, stores, field operations, lab operations, everything. I was managing IT, HR, everything I was managing into Quest Diagnostics. So there was a time where I felt that now I have done enough, and then I took a call and I moved into the Paras hospitals. Paras Hospital gave me the responsibility of running the hospital as a hospital head, as a they call facility director. It was like a chief executive officer, CEO of the hospital, and I ran the hospital. And there also I learned how to run the hospital. And we increase the revenue every day. I learned how to increase the revenue, how to improve the medical facility, how to improve the inflow of the patients out there, how to use the technology to improve the operations. So all those things I learned because being a IT guy, if you are running the operation, you understand more how it can be implemented and how it can be modernized once you know the operations. And when you are running the organization, you are responsible for the P&L. You understand the importance of investment also. You are not investing blindly. So whenever you are investing anything or proposing anything or envisaging any technology, you understand that how it will impact the revenue and improve the efficiency in the operations. Thereafter, I selected in HCG Oncology Hospital chain in Bangalore. So I spent about 3.5 years there in Bangalore with HCG Oncology Hospitals as a president and group CIO. So there I had three responsibilities with the HCG. HCG has got a 28 hospital across India and abroad, where I was managing all the 28 hospitals as a group CIO. I was managing the P&L of the North hospitals of HCG, wherein I got developed one hospital, 350 bedded hospital in Jaipur. One hospital was under construction. Still, it is under construction in Delhi. And there was another hospital in Ghaziabad and some in Kanpur. So this is how I was managing the P&L of the hospitals in the north, and I was president for the all laboratories across India in the hospital. So 28 laboratories we had across hospital. Later on, we purchased a company called Strand Life Sciences, which is a genomics company, and I led that company as a president of the genomics company. And then that company got sold out to Reliance, and I moved into the IQVIA during just before the pandemic, and I then got an opportunity to work with the National Health Authority and drive the National Digital Health Mission, which recently Prime Minister inaugurated. So we conceived and we designed the National Digital Mission, which has been inaugurated by the Prime Minister now across India, which is we studied the global best practices, and we implemented and designed the whole project in line with the Indian requirements, keeping in mind the global standards. We kept in mind the ICD 11, ICD 10, 11, SNOMED CT, LOINC, HL7, Fire 4, and distributed network across India in the open architecture. So that project is over, and and then I accepted this current assignment as a CIO of Gangaram Hospital. Again, here we are implementing the Oracle ERP and integrating it with the TrackCare HIS. So a lot of challenges are here. I've just joined here a month back, so I'm getting into right. That is what is my journey. And now, so that this was the answer of your question, that how my role got evolved. I have explained you. And the answer of your first question is, what is making me up in the night and keeping me energetic all the time is, when you are doing your job passionately, your mind keep on looking for the new things and find the better way to do the things. So once your mind is active and always it is active to find new things, you become awake. You need not to get motivated, so you get yourself motivated to get the things done. I'm getting the things done here in 1 month's time. I got many things done, so that keep me awake, that yes, there is a success. Then I keep on choosing myself the targets for the next month or next quarter, next year, so that you keep on running towards the target and following up the things. So need not to get yourself provoked by anybody.
So, is a facility's size a big factor in the role of the healthcare CIO? In the same way, is it among small and medium businesses compared to larger corporations that you have worked for?
Okay, so I just assume that if it is a 100-bedded hospital, standalone 100-bedded hospital, or maybe 50 to 100-bedded hospital, and now there are plans to upgrade this hospital to 200-bedded hospital, 300-bedded hospital, or maybe opening a 100-bedded hospital in another city. So in that case, you need to first make sure that your HIS is robustly implemented, and this HIS is able to handle the patient load and the information flow. So in that case, if tomorrow there are patient load and information load, your application should not become a showstopper into the progress. That's a one thing. Second, your application, generally, people choose the application to manage the operations only. But every application, whatever application do you choose, you should keep in mind that this application gives a proper financials aspect of every bit of it, and it covers the P&L. So anybody who is implementing or choosing the application, keep in mind either that application should have got a capability of these financials, or there is another application which can be easily integrated with this application, pull the information, and is able to give the proper P&L of the hospital. And not only the P&L, the operational parameter as well. Say for in the hospital case, if the system should be able to monitor ALOS or the RPOB on a daily basis, the average length of stay or the average revenue occupied per occupied bed. So in that case, if ALOS and RPOB are properly getting monitored, hospital will be able to foresee the revenue and the P&L down the line 1 month or a quarter or a year. So those are the functionality should be available with the applications. Then another thing is the application should be able to integrate the other applications as well, because no application available in the market which covers each and every bit of the requirement of the hospital. Say for example, there are applications which will take care of the only hospital information system but would lack the laboratory information system. So how your laboratory information system, because in the generally the HIS application, the codes application available in the market, they do have a laboratory application plugged in with the HIS, but don't cover the complete aspect of the laboratory information systems. Because in the laboratory information system, it's a vast system where the information or the laboratory system or application should not only cover the reporting aspect of it. It should be able to give you the complete aspect of the laboratory, how much reagent is getting consumed with respect to every test, with respect to every machine, all those things, consumables, etc., should be able to monitor it. Similarly, in the HIS, the HIS should be able to integrate with the other ancillary applications like or risk packs, other applications. Those type of applications should be integratable with the application. Then your application should be able to have the backup of the data, how the application is managing the data, because in case of something get crash, whether you are able to continue your business. So how that particular aspect has been taken care of in the application. Then once these aspects have been done, then the I would say it depends, but depends upon the management that how they want to take the business to the next level. The another part is the security. The security aspect in the healthcare has been not been paid that much of attention in India particularly. I was a few of fortunate that I worked in the US MNC for a longer time, and in the US MNC, because of the HIPAA compliances, we were more aware about the security aspect of the healthcare data and how to make sure that patients' privacy and the patients' data results has to be secured while transmitting the reports or the talking or collecting the patient's information into the system. How secure it is and what type of encryption has been used and what type of data security has been implemented during the transmission. So that security aspect also need to be make sure while you are upgrading or planning to upgrade your business from a small hospital to the bigger hospital. Then the third aspect, I would say, all the applications you should evaluate from the auditory perspective. Your application should be properly giving all the auditory requirement, be it the SOX compliance or NABH requirement or the NABL requirements. So all those auditory compliances, because that is also one of the important factor where your applications is able to give all the auditory requirements or audit compliances, fulfilling the audit compliances, be it the generic healthcare audit compliances or the IT audit compliances. So from the compliances perspective, you want to make your organization from the standards point of view, the global organization. This is also one of the important aspect you should keep in mind while implementing application into your small hospital.
What are your three priorities when you get to the work in the morning? The top three one.
So see, I have, I'm not quad core mind in my set. I have got a multi-core mind in my brain. So when I start, I plan it to monitor every day. I plan every day in a way that today which application part I would be monitoring, calling the people, taking the download. I structure myself in a day. I start my day with the calendar. So when I wake up, I see my calendar for the whole day. My calendars are minute to minute booked. If somebody has to meet me, they have to book my calendar. If they are not used to of that booking my calendar, I book myself my calendar on my iPhone so that my minute to minute is totally booked and packed. I don't appreciate people not joining the meetings. If they are late, the meeting is over. I give the slot to somebody else. So that is how your productivity increases and you become disciplined. And when you are disciplined, your people around start becoming disciplined. And that is one of the reason your productivity increases and you feel engaged all the time. If you'll not plan that way, you will be sitting idly the way people keep on sitting idly all the day. They are not
Yes.
aware and they are always into the firefighting mode. If boss says that okay, you do this, then they are into that. I'm a person like, if my boss call, I have got a guts to say no to the boss. That was, you need to in advance tell me I have got a already appointment and I'm into middle of this, so it will take time to finish this thing, and then I will join you. So people also become used to of that practice. That is how they become used to that. This guy will be available, so they need to fix the appointment and make sure that this much time would be required. So that is how the organization productivity increases, the people's productivity increases, your productivity increases, and you are not lost all the time. So that is the
Yes.
one thing I start the day with myself. I have another very peculiar practice since beginning of my career is I keep one notebook with me and one page for a day. I
Okay.
jot down every activity by pen or pencil on a paper every day while
In the
coming
morning.
into in the morning. My calendars are 100% booked, and I jot down by pencil, and that is a forceful activity I do myself, so that I feel frustrated that why I am noting it down today these many tasks. So what I do, I with the calendar or otherwise the responsibility conferred to me, I jot down every day on a paper with the date, and then I keep on cutting the activities which I perform, and next day all left out work I repeat it the new page. So that frustrates you, that forces you, that provokes you, that this thing getting repeated every day, so your mind gets get attentive to that particular activity and you finish it off. So nothing gets lost, first thing. Second, you are basically documenting your productivity on every day. After a year, you call me that in that 2013, what were you doing in the Quest Diagnostics? I'll pull up one of my diary of that 2013 and every day's activity that this time to this time I had this conference call, this time this I did this firefighting, this time this I did this. So you can take that thing out. That is a rudimentary way of doing the things, but
Yes.
I like that thing. You do it digitally or you do it pen and paper, but that is the one thing make myself push and keep on doing the things.
So now let's just shift gears for a moment. And my next question is that, as there are the most promising innovations and technology enhancements that you have witnessed in recent times, I would like to ask about them. And what's your perspective on how future of healthcare would look like in India?
Okay, in India, so
Yes.
my answer will be influenced with the National Health Authority's initiative, the National Digital Health Mission. And
Yes.
I was few fortunate, and I was a director project management out there. I know the complete project, and that is, I wish also as a, now I am an outsider, so I wish that project gets take off and get implemented across India. And earlier, one of the similar call from the Singapore healthcare management of people.
Yes.
I shared that thing and they were surprised. Even some of the Indians panelists were there and they were surprised that this type of initiative is being taken care of by the Indian government. And if India is thinking this way, they are way ahead from the global leaders in the healthcare. So, before answering to that, let me explain you the digital, the NDHM project, how it was conceived. So, the concept was that National Health Authority is integrating across India every healthcare facility, be it hospital, laboratory, pharmacy, medical devices, everything they are integrating. And it is in a distributed environment. When I say integrating, is there is a provision that they have created a infrastructure or the system out there where every doctor or the health professional need to get registered into the health professional registry.
Yes.
So with that, so that will become a single source of truth across the India with the National Health Authority, that this particular doctor, if in your locality, if you see that I want to meet some orthopedician. So today It is like a Swiggy that if you want to have a pizza, you have got a choice that this store, that store. You can choose the type of this type of pizza you can order, and not only you order for yourself, you can order for your friends, relatives, also across. I would say globe, wherever these applications are working. So similarly, this was conceived that all the doctors and not only the doctors, from the WHO's guidelines, we extended this to the all healthcare professionals. So all healthcare professionals are registered into HPR. Then in the HFR, health facility registry, all the facilities has to get registered to be the part of the NDHM. And all the citizen of India has to have a health ID. So the most important aspect which Indian government has adopted is was the voluntary participation of the patient, so-called citizen, and the facility provider. You are not forced like other countries that you have to be in the this particular project or process. If you want to avail the healthcare services, you want to part of it, you get registered and then you will be there. The beauty of it is that there is an application have been developed that if you go to for example Tata Memorial Hospital in Bombay, and then you come to the AIMS Delhi, and then you go to for example Medanta at the end of the day, or you are coming to Gangaram Hospital, and during this course of action, you got tested into Metropolis or OnQuest or Lal's Path Lab or some XYZ lab laboratory, and you availed the services of some pharmacies across these respective cities and hospitals. All this data, or be it imaging or radio diagnostic, radiology or pathology, whatever you have done, everything will be sitting in your mobile. Every data will be sitting in your mobile, right? And if you're coming to the doctor is, if the doctor and the facility is registered into the NDHM, they will be able to ask you that whether you are registered. If you are registered, then they will ask permission from you. Based upon your permission, if you want to share that you would like to share only one particular hospital's information with them, so you need to tick those boxes, and a duration. So I would say that if I am talking, I want to share this data for the next 30 minutes or 1 hour. So you have that particular option also sitting there, or perpetual. So based upon patient's consent, that particular information will be shoot to the NHA server. NHA will shoot a OTP based upon that. That OTP will get shared to the facility or the hospital, and then this hospital will be able to get the data from the respective hospitals. Suppose if you are sitting in the Gangaram, and you are giving a permission to for the records of Tata Memorial and the Metropolis reports. So those reports, the system will fetch the reports from there and will display on your monitor. You need not to carry the whole files, etc. So this is how your whole data, country's data, can be portable from one facility to another facility. So this is integrating a healthcare system. So if this is implemented in a effective and efficient way, make it is a government, up to the government of India to make people knowledgeable about this particular project. And then if this is implemented across India perfectly, I think we will be the leader in the healthcare across globe. So that is the future of India, wherein everything gets integrated. With that, all the facility or the government policies will be, become easier. You will be able to know that which area, which region has got which particular disease coming up or cropping up. So you can mobilize your infrastructure accordingly. You can optimize your pharmacy. You can optimize your resources. You can optimize your clinicians. Your hospital in the remote areas will not be depriving of the medical facilities. You have, I think, if I'm not wrong, we have 1 lakh bed across India, including private and government hospitals. And contrary to that, we have one clinician on somewhere around 2000 bed, one clinician. So those thing will not be there once this type of systems get implemented. So clinical deficiency or the resource deficiency across India will not be there. You will be able to optimize clinicians. One clinician is overoccupied. On the contrary, the another clinician is freely sitting out there waiting for the patient. Similarly, your business is one business is overpopulated, not able to serve the population. The another business is not getting the enough business out to do the serve. So those type of things will get. I would say that there will be a equilibrium across the business or the healthcare ecosystem, and government will have a better visibility of the healthcare data to create the national policy and improve it.
For my own curiosity, my next question to you is, what was it like being Chief Information Security Officer of the most secure and integrity driven organization of India? And as you know, I'm referring to the Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI.
Yeah. So actually, in the government, you just get the designation, but your work is a little bit different. I was working as a CIO there only, not only the CISO, because they didn't have a role CIO, so they gave me the CISO role there. Uh,
Okay.
though I was taking care of the security aspect also, but most of the time, as I explained in my earlier conversation, that I was focusing more on the computerization of all the operations there in the CBI. So by virtue of the designation, I was CISO, but I was taking care of the overall IT infrastructure application implementation and the cyber forensics of the cybercrime division in the CBI. And of course, as I already explained you that what all applications and systems we implemented into the CBI way back in 2002, 2004. Uh, so that time, systems were not that much advanced as much as today, but we developed this thing way ahead of times uh, and implemented in CBI.
We have a rapid fire round here. I'm going to ask you a few questions and you have to answer it either in one word or one sentence, but it has to be very rapid, like maybe just in
Yeah,
5 seconds. So, shall we start?
yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay. So, which is your favorite book?
So favorite book is the best seven best practices by the world leaders.
And which is your most favorite song?
Most favorite song
Yes.
is the old movie Kabuli Wala, and that guy used to say that "Ae mere watan ke log."
Hai Mere. Okay. Beautiful song.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are really inspired by you. But what is your inspiration in life? Your role model? Who is your role model?
See, I have I don't have much role models in my life, but I admire two three my bosses in past.
Okay.
One of the guy who is HCG chairman, HCG oncology chairman, Dr. Ajay Kumar. I admire the managing director of Paras Healthcare, Dr. Dharmender Nagar. And there used to be one guy in the Quest, also is an American guy. So I'm highly impressed with these guys and their zeal, their energy, and the way they have driven the business and taken to the heights. So these two guys have been my role models, and I get inspiration from them.
Okay. Your favorite productivity software?
Productivity software. HIS is a productivity software because it is increasing the productivity of the hospital or the laboratory. In the laboratory, I saw that there are softwares in the LIMS which are improving the laboratory uh, productivity, and there are HIS, but no HIS is a perfect HIS which I could name one which would be increasing the productivity of the hospital. But yes, HIS and LIMS are these are the two applications which are contributing major part of healthcare industry's productivity improvement.
So, which antivirus would you suggest me to put on my laptop? Your favorite antivirus?
See, because I am coming from the security background, the only antivirus will not do anything. So it is okay that you put any antivirus. So Trend Micro and any antivirus, Quick Heal, etc. Any these antivirus will do. But from the security aspect, that is not enough.
Okay, so this is the last one, and we are definitely going to note this one. So, your favorite quote, it can be a quote from a very, knowledgeable person, or it can be your own quote also. Your favorite quote.
See, the mantra is you never stop, you keep going. So there is no retirement.
Okay.
I wish that I die sitting here. So that is what is the mantra. So till last you should be working.
No, sir. We wish that you live more than 100 years and keep our healthcare sector of India and other things secured.
But yeah, so you should, that keeps you young, if you think that way, that there is no retirement for you. So you keep your mind keep agile for the tomorrow.
So, yes, we should just keep going. There is no
Keep going.
retirement. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, sir. I have learned a lot about a lot of things in this interview. I'm sure all the viewers who are watching this have got a lot of insights from you. I'm honored that I was able to interview you. And there are a few things which I am going to implement in my life after hearing from you. For example, the best one that I got was that we should make a note of the tasks in the morning, and next day we should also make a note of the pending tasks. It was really, really good listening to you. I'm really honored. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I would also like to thank all the viewers who have watched this interview. I hope you will keep watching more interviews of these notable talks from anytechtrial.com. And I hope to see you in future videos. Thank you so much.
Thank you.